BI. So, welcome.
Thank you, Goran. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming and having a Saturday together. And thank you, Goran, for inviting us and the venue for hosting and the Azure Scone for organizing. A few words about me. My name is Andrea. Martorana Tusa is the family name. I'm from Italy, but I'm living in Denmark. And I'm an MVP in the data platform area, so no artificial intelligence, mainly data. I usually say that data is my core business, actually, because I'm working in Pandora, so the same company as Goran, and I'm working in the, let's say, BI department. I'm the product manager for the SharePoint platform that we use for developing, for distributing Power BI reports, and co-admin of the Power BI tenant. So in the past few years, mainly focused on Power BI, making Power BI working at an enterprise scale, but a long record of experience in data and databases and so on and so forth. Speaker, many events worldwide. Okay, so let's say that the topic we kind of narrow down with respect to the previous topic, because we are just focusing on Power BI and some features that you have Power BI for using machine learning and advanced analytics. But actually, it fits in the big picture that Anna presented to us. Now there were some services and some names that you will find out here as well. So we will talk about cognitive services, for instance, and machine learning a bit, but from the Power BI standpoint. There are some features that are out of the box. Some features you can do something custom. So we will see both and how you can play with it. When you go into the Power BI documentation, when you go too fast, when you go into the Power BI document, this is just official documentation from Microsoft. All of these items, they are marked as artificial intelligence. Well, today they call it artificial intelligence. Yeah, I think it's a bit too much, probably. From my standpoint, it's just features. Some of them, they are out-of-the-box features. Some of them you can do something custom on your own. Honestly, some of them I wouldn't call them artificial intelligence. Anyhow, this is how it looks like. We will go not through all of them. It will take too much time, but we will see some of them and something that I think it's interesting and something that we are trying to use actually in our everyday activity in Pandora. So we will start with, and you have the reference for each of the topic. You have the reference into the slides. It's just the official documentation. So we will start with something that is called insights. Basically, by default, Power BI can kind of look into your data and find out some correlations, some outliers, whatever thinks it's kind of worth to mention, let's say, into your own data sets. Unfortunately, there is a small diamond here, and the diamond means that this is a premium service. I don't know how familiar are you with the Power BI licensing. If you want more details, please ask. Premium is the top level of services in Power BI, and you have to pay a lot of money for it. In an enterprise scenario, you are usually using a premium service. If you want to know, just ask. So Power BI by default looks into your data and looks for some individual visuals, dashboard tiles, data sets. So all of them, these objects can be accessed and read by your service, and it gives you some insights. We will have a demo for everything that I'm showing to you. It's in preview, and it's a premium feature. So comes with the high cost licensing model. When you open a report, Power BI automatically, so it's out of the box. So actually, we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So we don't know what kind of Power BI claims that there are algorithms behind it. We don't know what kind of algorithms are running or what kind of analysis is running. We just see the output. I will show you. So you just go and you see insights. You see this pop-up window. Tell me some insights, or you have get insights from in your report. And you can either get insight for a full report or for a single visual. How does it work? This is just a standard Power BI environment, Power BI report. It's a report published in the Power BI service, it's called, so it's a cloud service. And here I have this Get Insights button. I need to be in a, as I told you, in a premium workspace, so you need a small diamond for running it. You need a premium subscription, and you need to be in a premium workspace. Then you go, get insights. This is just dummy data, fake data, so actually probably the accuracy or the effectiveness of the output we don't know, but it's not for, how to say, really assessing data. It's just to show you how it works. So we click on Get Insights, and we have some report analysis. We have 400 something reports, and then Power BI tells me something else. So the overall count of subscription ID, it's okay, 78. That I can see it, and some other stuff. Overall count of user ID and count for user ID, for username, blah, blah, blah. When there is some kind of correlation or pattern or insight that Power BI thinks it's worth to mention, it's highlighted here. Again, out of the box, we don't know exactly what's running under the hood, but this is how it looks like when you get an output. And you see down below, this feature is in preview, still in preview, and you need premium license. But actually, there is another one which can be a bit confusing, because this one is called Quick Insight. So the previous one was called Insights. This one is called Quick Insights, and we all know, sorry Anna, that Microsoft is very bad for naming or for naming features. Can be very, very confusing. So this is another feature, and this is open to everyone who has a pro license, actually. And it's looking into your data set, and you are getting this category of detection. So you have outliers, change point in a time series, correlations again, low variance, majority, outliers again, overall trend in time series, seasonality in time series, steady share, time series outliers, and so on and so forth. So basically, I don't know if you have you are working with Power BI or you have experience, but when we publish a report in Power BI, we got this message. Okay, your report has been published, and there is actually this message that anyone knows, everyone disregards. We are all ignoring, but actually this message, if you click on it, you are getting into this insights area of your dashboard. If you miss it, you can just go into your data set. There is Get Quick Insights, and you can get insights. I show you how it works. It's just for highlight that actually there is this option, but we usually don't care about it. And it applies to dashboard tiles. So again, I don't know how much familiar you are, but we have reports and we have dashboards in Power BI. In a dashboard, there is an object which is called tile. each object of the dashboard, each tile. For single tiles, you have the option. By the way, feel free to ask questions any moment. And if you think that I'm going too fast, please stop me. Okay, so how the quick insights they are working. Let's go here and let's maybe publishing takes too much time. We will. Well, let's see if we can try to publish. Not this one, sorry. The other one. This demo machine, my own demo machine, I'm paying for it, and it's publishing on my own demo environment. So it's really bad performing because I'm paying with my own pocket for that. So sorry for the performances, but I'm trying to keep the tier very, very low for not paying too much. Okay, I'm publishing, yes. Just a standard Power BI report, publish it. And when you publish the report, hopefully it won't take too much, but otherwise we have it. Okay, so yes, I have published my report. And as I told you, we have this get quick insights. Nobody usually cares. That's fine. We can either click on it, and we are going to Power BI service. But we can do the same if we go into the published report. So the report is published under my workspace, and under my workspace I have all the objects. I have dashboards, I have reports, and I have a data set. So the data set, if I click on the dots for the data set and I get quick insights, this is exactly what I'm getting. So Power BI again runs something, some algorithms out of the box. We don't know, but something is happening. This is dummy data, so again, it's not that we are getting real insights, but it's for showing you how it works. No? So view insights, and this is the list of insights. This data is fictional data for travel expenses for companies that I invented, so it's really dummy data, no worries. But I mean, I created an outlier, and this was made by purpose, so actually it's showing me that at one point I have an outlier in my data trends, no? And that there are some correlations. So there is a correlation between a company ID and destination, or the destination, so the travel reason. Poland accounts for the majority of audit, and so on and so forth. So I don't know, total kilometers. Sales and training have noticeably more total kilometers, so some kind of data that Power BI thinks worth to highlight. Okay. The same works for dashboards. So if I go in a dashboard and I click, as I told, on a single tile, view insights for a single tile. Basically, it's a subset of what I've seen before. So some insights related to this specific chart in this case. It's exactly the same. If you remember, it's exactly the same output, the same insights, because of course it's just same data, just a subset of data. So you can either have it for your full data set or for a few tiles. It's nice, it's interesting, something, it helps you to detect maybe patterns or behaviors or outliers. I think it's worth taking a look on it. It's in this case, it's for free, because it's just, I publish it in my workspace, so it's actually for real, for free. But if you publish on any other workspace, you just need a pro license, so it's not such expensive. Just a license per user. Okay, next one, again, out of the box, it's the analytic line. You have this feature, and you can add dynamic reference lines to your visual and provide a focus for trends or insights. This is the type of reference lines that you have. You can add a constant line, mean, la, max, average, median, percentile, or forecasting. And there is another one which is outlier anomalies detection. When you click, and this is on a single visual level, so you have a chart, you have a scattered plot, depends on the visual, because not all the visuals can support it. If you have a pie chart, it doesn't work. If you have a card, it doesn't work. But for a chart, histogram, or trending lines, whatever, it works. And for some of the visuals, you have this icon here. This icon gives you access to this analytic area where you can drag, you can draw your own lines. Let's see. Yeah, so advanced analytics, analytic line. Okay, so I have a few charts, and actually, as you can see, I already drawn some lines for this one. For example, I just created a fixed line, and on this one I created a fixed line as well. So let's see how it works. I can I select a visual, and I go here where I have this magnifier, and if I go here, I have this list of available lines: constant line, mean, max, average, median, percentile, and error bars. Please note here there is no forecasting, but if I click here, I have some more. I have a couple of more options. I have forecast and I have find anomalies. Why? Because the forecast comes with the time series. So when I have date types on my chart, this is a date horizontal axis, then I can add extra features. Forecasting and anomalies. Let's get back to the previous one just to show you how it works. So I already created an average line. You can see from here because there is a 1 here. So I already created an average line. But let's say, and it's based on the expenses amount. So for each, I'm monitoring expenses, travel expenses for my companies. So I don't know, I want to add a threshold, for example, where I have, I don't know, if I go over 8 millions of whatever it is, then I want to see all the expenses that are exceeding that threshold. So I want to add a max line. Okay, the max line actually is not the good case because the max line goes on the maximum value, but there is a constant line that I can add, this one. So I want to add a constant line, and should be for the value, I don't know, 8. And let's see, for make it whatever. Okay, so I created, let's get rid of some lines because maybe they are confusing. So, okay, so this is just a constant because this is my threshold value. All the values that are exceeding my threshold, then I need to pay attention to them, no? So it's easy because in this way I can see which month it's actually going over my threshold, for instance, or I can define maybe a mean or max interval, and all the values that are below or above, maybe I need to check them out because I can have a constant line, I have a mean line, I have an average line, so the average line gives me the average of my expenses. I have a percentile and I have a median, but as we said, we can also have forecasts. So if we have a time series, we can add a forecast, and if I enable the forecast, okay, so I have some options. For the forecast, I can define the unit. So it can be points. Honestly, I don't know exactly what does it mean, but you have time, date and time options. So you can define forecast for years, quarters, months, days, whatever. So let's say I want to see the forecast for the next 6 months, maybe, on my expenses. So I go and I say forecast length, it's 6. And then there are some other options, seasonality or confidence interval. And I say confidence interval, it's basically this gray area, no? It gives you the kind of confidence about the accuracy of the prediction. So actually, this is a big confidence. It seems that we are not so confident on the values that we are predicting, let's say. So I can try to reduce a bit. OK, no, the lowest seems 75. And if I apply, should be, yeah, the gray area is restricted. So this is my forecast. Actually good, because my expenses seems that are going down. So I'm happy with it. And so this is how the forecast works. And I can also, where are you? Yeah, exactly. So I can also add a trending line, no? So for this other visual, I can add a trend, so I can calculate basically the regression model behind, no? So if I enable the trending line, this, yeah, actually it's not visible. It's not that much visible. Black. Let's get rid of the average line and make it larger. Yeah, it's a bit hidden, but down below I have the trending line, so I can see that there is a slightly positive linear regression between time and the amount of expenses. Okay? The last out-of-the-box feature is called Key Influencers Visual. Basically, again, uses machine learning algorithms to analyze data and provide insights. So you can you basically have a data set, and you get again some info about how the data is correlated, or how the data, what kind, which field is affecting or influencing mostly your data, and so on, so forth. Oh, no, actually, that was, sorry, that the animation was not correct. Sorry for that. So you have the option to analyze your data, ranks, factors that matter, display these factors as a key influencers. This is why it's called the key influencers. So if you, we have an example for people that own a subscription. What are the main factors that affect your being a customer, or the probability that you have a subscription for any service we provide? Might be the income, might be the sex, might be, don't know, if you have kids or whatever, no? Or the country of the working position. There are some, so you have a data set, and then this data set is being analyzed. Well, we will see it, and it gives you some outcomes. Okay, so, but for this one, I took some notes because I don't recall exactly all the fields that I have to put in. So let's see. Key influencer visual, it's another report that I have to open. Yeah. So for this case, we have analysis of feedback. We are getting feedback from our customer, and the feedback might be high or low. And we are analyzing the factors that are influencing the feedback that we are getting from the customer. This is basically the idea behind. Okay, so I have this set of data, and if you take just to let you understand, so I have customers, and I have a customer ID, and then I have a subscription ID, I have the rating. So, and the rating might be either high or low. This is my rating. So I want to see what affects the rating that I'm getting from my customers. When it's high, what are the factors that are affecting the high rating, or what are the factors that are affecting the low rating? And I have some info, so where are you located, the role in your company, what kind of device do you have, blah, blah. This is sample data that they are coming from online examples, so it's nothing that I invented in this case. You can easily find them on Microsoft official documentation. Because again, the goal here is to show how it works rather than building our own data set. We will take a one-day workshop to build a data set and analyze, train, and do the real like we do in the company, no? Okay, so explain by field. So I have the rating somewhere, and I have few fields here for this visual, which is called key influencer visual. I have analyze. So here I'm putting the rating because I wanted to analyze the rating, and I want to see the factors that are affecting my rating. So I go here, and I say rating. And then I put some factors. So for instance, I put the where are you located in terms of country, region. Then role in organization, subscription type. So role in organization, role in organization. And then subscription type. What else? Company type. Company type. That's company type. Maybe I wrote the wrong one. Yeah. Okay. So we have some values. Okay, so what influences our rating to be high? When your role in your organization is publisher, when your subscription type is basic, when the company size it's between some values, when your country region is Germany, or when your country region is UK, but this is this has a highest value. I can do the other way around. What affects my rating to be low? When your role in the organization is a consumer, subscription type is Premier, and company size is small, and your country region is France. So we are not making happy customers in France for any reason. Okay, so this is again a out of the box visual, which gives you some insights, and then you can have some values or how the population is segmented. Several 4 segments, and rank them by percentage of rating and population size. So you have the number of people that are assessed. Okay. Now you can say, okay, this is these are out of the box visual, fine, perfect. But what if we want to do some custom analysis? Yeah, then let's go to some languages and how they are supported in Power BI. And then we will see how to create a machine learning, it's already created, how to apply a machine learning algorithm in Power BI, calling a machine learning services in Power BI. R. So we have a native R integration in Power BI. It's been supported for a while. So you can use R, and you can use R scripts in Power BI. You can actually use R for importing data. So you write an R script, I will show you. You write an R script, and you read data from an external data source. You can use R for transforming data. So you can have a step in your data set in Power BI for transforming data using R. And you can create visuals because there is a R icon here. So you just create a visual in R, and you use it in your report. And we have some samples for that. In this case, I show you how just to create a simple regression model in a Power BI visual. So it's just 3 lines of, actually 2 lines of code in R. And you can create, because what's the power of R? That you really can create whatever you want. You have plenty of packages, but you have plenty of options for creating plots, charts, whatever that are not included in the Power BI set of visuals. No? So rather than creating a custom visual, you can create your own plot using R. Of course, it takes language, programming. You need to know R. But if you want, then you can really do whatever is needed, and you can customize your chart at the most. This is one example. Just call an R script and use it in your canvas. Another one, correlation plot. There are also some R visuals, custom visuals created. So you can simply call a custom visual and using it in Power BI. So no need for either for creating, for writing code, or for creating custom visuals. There are already some custom visuals. One of the most common is the time series forecasting. So you have a forecasting custom. You have 2 free forecasting custom visuals in R. What is needed, and pay attention to it, for running R in, I guess I have somewhere, yes, yeah. So for running R and Python, it's either run R or Python in your report. In Power BI, you need a local R installation. So you need R installed locally on the machine where you are creating the report. You need a local version of R. If you want to use custom visuals, anyone wants to say anything? Feel free. If you want to use visuals, you have to pay attention to dependencies. So when I will show you, when you go into a package to be installed, then you have sorry, not a package, a visual to be installed, then you have packages that are running behind it. So you need to pay attention to dependencies. For running time series, then you need to have zoo package which is called zoo, scales, and reshape 2, for instance. So these packages must be installed. Actually, Power BI prompts you if you are missing the packages, asking you want to install them. Don't do it. It will kill your application. So do it upfront. Do it beforehand. Check out what you need. Install using RStudio or whatever R interface you prefer, and then you can use them. Okay, so how to use R? A couple of samples for that. And let's open this one. You can close. Let's open the R and then see how we can R. While we are waiting, if any question, just ask. Okay, so when I open a Power BI report, as I said, we need to have a local version of R. So Power BI can detect all the versions of installations. Yes, I need to enable the script visuals because it's, come on. No, actually I wanted it. So options and settings, options. And you have these two tabs if it runs. Where are you? Okay, sorry, a bit late. So we have R scripting. So we need to tell to Power BI, okay, use this version of R. And actually, I have 3, 4, maybe something like that, versions of R. Because, by the way, I struggled a lot because I used to have the how to say the standard R release, but Power BI is always behind. So some packages that you need, they are no longer supported, or they changed something in the latest releases of R. So you need to go back. So I installed the Microsoft R version, and I need this one for another demo that I have. So I struggled a lot because Power BI is behind the evolution of the R releases. The same goes for Python. So I won't show you when we talk about Python, but it's exactly the same. So you need to tell Power BI, okay, I have a Python, so please use this local installation of release of Python because I need to have both running on my machine, so on my laptop or whatever you use. Okay, then I have this visual here. It's just R visual here. So I can simply drag and drop the visual into my canvas. What's happening is that I have this window editor down below. So I need to pass some data into my, and I need to read it. Okay, expense regressions. So I need to pass some data for being read through R. So it's here. Just pass all the data that I have in my data set. And I already have the script, but I basically need to write some script into this editor. Please don't do it directly in the R editor. It's impossible. So what you usually do, you do is that you prepare your script in RStudio or whatever tool you want to use, and then you paste. Okay, I made a mistake, sorry. So you copy and paste your script here. Oh, there is. Okay, sorry. This way. Copy and paste your script because this editor is very uncomfortable, no? So you go here, then there is a small arrow up here. So you have your R script here. You just run your script, and this is the output. So the output is a visual, a plot, correlation model in R. This is a simple, very simple correlation model in R, just a plot. Can do the same for the correlation plot. So I just drag and drop an R visual here. And I have this data. So it's here, month, weekday, registered, okay. Then this is my code. And I'm running this visual, which gives me a correlation plot. This is, for instance, a correlation plot is a visual that you don't find in Power BI, no? So if you want a correlation plot, I have, this is bike booking, so bike sharing. You have the amount of bike registered for day, for month, and for year. So we see what kind of how the data is affecting each other due to seasonality or whatever we want to see from here. And I can have a forecasting visual, as I told you. So if I go on get more visuals and I look for forecasting, no, what's wrong here? Forecast. Okay, so I have a couple of visuals, forecast using multiple models, and if I just take a look on this visual, so this is what you usually should do, that there are some R package dependencies. So you need to install a package which is called forecast, plotly, zoo, and lubridate. I already have this. I already have these packages installed on my local R. So I'm just adding. I think I already had. Yeah. Okay. So this is. Yeah. Exactly. So this is my visual. And so I have the green ones. They are the values that I registered. And the yellow ones are the predicted values based on the previous, and it's a time series again. So I can have forecasting based on this trend that I am passing to my model. Okay, then there are a lot of other options. We're running out of time, so we do not have. But this is a custom visual, so just go get the custom visual from your package and from the app source, and you can use it directly into your model. Same goes for Python. So we can open Python and see that it's pretty much the same. So you can create. It's supported by default in Power BI, and you can pretty much do the same. So you can import data using scripts. You can cleanse and transform data, and you can create charts. It's working the same way. So you have a Python visual, import drag the visual on the canvas, and then you have your script for creating chart, plots, or whatever. So if I'm opening, it's working the same. What I've seen is that in terms of custom visuals, you have more support on R rather than Python. I don't know, maybe because R has been on the ground for a longer time. Don't know exactly. And I'm usually, personally, I feel more confident working with R, but it's just a matter of your personal story or experience, no? So we have a Python here. So you have the Python visual, drag and drop, and it's working the same way. So you have the editor down below, and you have your script to copy and paste into the editor. Some data you are passing to the visual, pass some external data from your datasets to the visual, and then you have the output. Actually, it's running. There is something happening up here. It's a bit slow. Sorry for that, but it's actually working. It's running. So I have two visuals here. Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the visuals. I'm passing some data, and this is my script. So it's creating just a plot or a couple of plots with different outputs. Exactly the same as we have seen for R. Nothing special. They work the same way. Okay. So now let's go and spend 10 minutes talking about cloud services. We can use Azure Machine Learning. We can use cognitive services. And cognitive services, it's yes, a set of services we will see afterwards. So as Anna mentioned in the big picture, no, Azure Machine Learning was just standing at the bottom, kind of covering everything, and feel free to comment if you want. So basically, you can create your own machine learning model in Azure Machine Learning, invoking the model into Power BI, passing some data, and then getting the output basically, and then you can operationalize through Power BI service. Just sample how it might work. You have some data somewhere in SQL service, SQL Server, whatever. You can ingest your data in Power BI, and this is important, because from Power BI you are calling an external service. This service, it's sitting somewhere in Azure Machine Learning. What's usually happening is that by default in Power BI Premium, you have a set of options enabled that are called artificial intelligence. But since it's Power BI subscription, it's very expensive. So depends on kind of subscription you have. There are some workarounds. I will show you a couple of samples where you don't need a Power BI service, but you do need to create your model anyway in Azure Machine Learning. So you call an external service, either in form of embedded service or in form of web service, get some output, and then you publish in Power BI service, so that where everyone can consume it. So what I did, actually, it's the old version of Machine Learning Studio creating. It's called an experiment for assessing credit risk prediction. So again, it's a standard, very, very, very popular data set of credit card holders with some common categories I will show you. And what you do is that you create an experiment, it's called, for assessing the risk of each of them. Are they good buyers? Are they bad? what the model tells to us. For doing it, you go in Azure Machine Learning, create an experiment, expose as yes, so we can have a look on it, expose as a web service. So we have set, let's close this down. No. Okay, so we have, this is the old version. I should migrate to the new one, but it's, how to say, I'm doing it on my spare time for free, so slow down. But anyway, you see that it will be actually retired in 1.5 years, so we need to migrate to the new environment. What it's here is that you create, is called experiment, and it's exactly this credit risk prediction. So you pass some data for assessing the how reliable a customer is. So there are some, and you see it takes some time, so it's not that I can do it in a 1 hour session. It takes 1 day workshop for doing it. You have some algorithms. In this case, it's basically 2 class decision tree, and then you train the model, you score the model, there are some R scripts, something in the middle. What it's interesting for me is that the output is a web service. So you publish, maybe let's have a look before, let's have a look here before, because the predictive experiment. So what you are basically, exactly, so what when you create your model, you are passing some data. So it will call the web service from Power BI, and it's exposing again some data from the web service. So you create the experiment in the cloud, Azure Machine Learning. Then you call a web service for it. By default, all these services are available in Power BI Premium, not in Power BI Pro, like we do have. So we'll show you how to work. But basically, you get an API. This is a key. So you have to pass this key because, of course, there is a subscription related to it. So it's a matter of money, no? How to make it work in Power BI? Let's open the credit risk experiment. Credit risk prediction should be. But while we are waiting, is it clear? So you are creating an experiment in the cloud, in Azure Machine Learning, let's say. Then you need an API, and you expose the output as a web service. So you are calling a web service. For calling a web service, you need your key and to pass some data. Okay, so I have this data set. It's a easy data set that you can find easily in the documentation. It's just categories. All the customers, they are clustered for categories. So it's you are a good buyer, you have a house, you are holding houses, you have cars, you have kids, whatever. Based on all these categories, the output says you are good, either good or bad buyer. Okay. So what we do is that we go here in transform data. 1 second, because I want to close this one, because we need to do a restart. So transform data, and what we are doing, ta-da, there's an error. Okay, I expected this error because it comes with the point that it depends on, we are calling R here, and in the R release that I'm using, there is no package called Azure ML, because this is a very specific package made by Microsoft for Microsoft R. So I need to switch the R release before I can use it. So it was made by purpose, it's not a mistake. I need to go and say, okay, use another option of a version of R, because there is a version of R that it's supporting this Azure machine learning stuff. So it's called R server. Okay, then I guess I have to restart Power BI. 1 second. And I am calling in this Power BI report, I'm calling through an R script the machine learning. So no need for going through Power BI Premium. Customer credit risk prediction, sorry. Transform data. So let's have a look. Hopefully now some data is visible. What I want to show to you is that this is a step. So as I mentioned before, we can use R not only for visualizing data, but for transforming data. So this is an R script, a step inside my transformation. And this is calling through this package, Azure ML is calling my web service. So I am passing somewhere the keys and the ID of my service. And the service name is called the Credit Risk Prediction Web Service. So I'm calling it a web service. And I'm consuming the data through R. The next step is that the output dataset, come on. The output dataset is giving me the score. So the web service is invoked. I'm passing some data. It's the list of columns defined for assessment. And the output somewhere is something called score, credit risk. Yes, so I have two columns. One is called scored labels, and one is called scored probabilities. So this is the output of my machine learning model. It's going from 0 to 1, and the higher here, the higher, the better the buyer, the lower the other way around. So you have an assessment for each customer of his reliability as a customer. Okay. And this is done through calling an API and a web service in the cloud. Do we have 5 more minutes that we talk about the cognitive services? 5 more minutes. Thank you. Because I think it fits with what Anna was saying before, because we do have another set of services that are called cognitive services. Okay, save. That are called cognitive services. Basically, there is a set of APIs that you can invoke for natural language detection. No, sorry, for language analysis. There is there are some functions you can call. So it's a cloud service. There are some functions you can call: sentiment analysis, key phrase extractions, and language detection. Image tagging I'm not using yet. So you have these features, and you can use them in your Power BI report. So for that, what you need a subscription. Cognitive services a subscription. So you go in cognitive services, you create a text analytics subscription. This is my personal subscription. There is a free tier for using it. So pay attention to it. It's interesting because you have, this is for free. So you have 5,000 transactions for 30 days. I mean, since it's just for demo, it's fine. If you want to do, for instance, on feedback analysis or whatever, then you probably need an enterprise subscription. So you go create in cognitive services. So you have this language service. You create your own subscription, and then you can use it in Power BI. How? Let's have a quick look on it. Yes, maybe meanwhile I can show you what you are getting. It's that you have somewhere, yeah, an endpoint. So you have an endpoint from this service, and there should be a key somewhere. Maybe I can I don't show you, but so you need an endpoint. You need a key because it's you have to pay for this service. And what you can do is that you take your feedback from customers and you analyze your feedback. What we are doing in this sample is that we analyze free. Yeah, okay. So I have the customer feedback somewhere. Fabricant comments. Okay, so I have feedback. And this is the feedback. Again, just dummy data, but you have a feedback. So you want to do sentiment analysis. Is this feedback positive? Is it negative? How much positive, how much negative? Language detection, which language is written, and key phrase extraction. So you read the key phrases to highlight what are the most common words in this. How do you do it? You go into transform data. You have three functions in Power BI. For each of them, you are calling, so you need an API, of course, and then you are calling a function. So basically, they are all the same. What is changing is just this, because this is the function, the call to the function. So you have key phrases, you have a sentiment analysis, and you have a language detection. For the structure of the script is the same for all of them. You're just changing the function that you are calling. And what you do is that you go in your data set and you apply the function. So you are calling a function query key phrases. You are calling the function. You are applying to this text. This is the comment. And this is the output. So I have 3 new, maybe more, columns somewhere. If I go here, I have few columns. All of them, they are the output of the function call. And so I have key phrases. The cognitive services extracts the most common words and phrases that are used in the comments. Then you have a sentiment analysis from 0 to 100. This is very positive. This is very negative, for instance. And then the language detection. All of these comments are in English, but if they were in a different language, you have the language detected. This is very powerful, and I really like it. The cognitive services, I think this is the one that we use the most, both for internal feedback in the SharePoint portal that we are running. We collect feedback, and we are analyzing the feedback through cognitive services, sentiment, and scoring them. And for all our internal customers. What's wrong here? Okay, so then, for instance, I can use a custom visual. This is the word cloud. So I'm just passing all the key phrases to the word cloud, and I'm getting the most common words. As you can see, problems. Problems is a very big one. So something not good. And I can see the how how the feedback are scored in terms of sentiment analysis. Are they either positive or negative? Maybe I can contact the customers with the most negative. Yeah, that was it. Maybe sorry, we got a bit out of time. Sorry for that. But I wanted to mention these features. So, quick recap. We have seen insights. We have seen cognitive services. How to consume a machine learning model in a report. Key influencers visual. Python, R, quick insights. And I think that's it. If there is any question, I'm here and I'm staying here after the speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. We'll take a short break now, so I suggest that you save questions for the break and reach out to Andrea. Yes?
The lunch is on its way. It will be here in roughly 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so we have time, actually.
Then we can ask a question or two.
If you want to stand out, stand up, no problem. I mean, it's not that you need to be sitting down. But if you have questions, then it's a good moment. Yes?